shake, baby. And you know I'm slaughter like I'm Jason. That's the way you got it on safety. Like a wind, so I'm drowning. I probably shouldn't be around you.
Look at that. Live from Los Angeles. Welcome to Good Morning La La Land. I'm Dr. Erin.
Hi, I'm Rob Mack.
And I'm Jessamine Moyer. This is Good Morning La La Land, America's first live streaming daily talk show, coming to you Monday through Friday live at 9 a.m. on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and now on Twitter. Good morning, La La Land, and happy Monday.
That's right. It's all about hashtag Motivation Monday, and I can use a little of that right now. So we're going to actually talk about the #1 thing that can kill motivation in the workplace and destroy a team. We're also going to talk to a woman about how she empowers women through shoes and wine, and we're going to talk to a man about how to get your brand on point.
Oh, okay. All right.
Hashtag Monday Motivation, Marketing Monday, and I fell in love at shoes and wine. By the way, I am so excited. We have two very special guests in the house in the back studio. Good morning, Ms. April Jones and Mr. Brett Linkletter. Good morning. Thank you so much for being with us today.
To the show.
How you guys doing?
Hello. Good. Good.
Hi.
How are you doing? Coffee is in hand. So here at Good Morning La La Land, we'd like to know, how do you start your day? What's your morning routine like? I mean, before you're like designing wine and shoes and building all these businesses, what do you do first thing?
So first thing in the morning, I get up around 6:45. I hit the gym, and then I get in the office actually around 9:30. So we have kind of a weird schedule in our day. Our office hours are 10 to 7. Just because I don't know what it is, something about me like getting started a little bit later in the day, at least for work-wise, for me is better. Definitely need that caffeine in the morning, have like 3 or 4 shots of espresso, and then we get going.
Well, thank you for starting a little earlier today to be with us. We appreciate it. April, what's your morning routine like?
Well, for me, you know, life is a little all over the place because I am a mother of 2. So I have a 3-year-old and a 2-year-old, and so life is a little bit hectic. I mean, I wake up early with my kids, take my son to school with my baby girl. Just like he said, you know, have to have your little coffee or espresso in the morning because some days you're just extremely tired. But yeah, and then it's just to the gym to have my sanity, meditate, and work.
I'm all coffee, and then I'm all wine.
And then wine.
Yeah, exactly.
Wine to end the day.
Exactly. One cup of coffee for my 1 bottle of wine. There we go.
Exactly. Yep.
Well, thank you both so much for being with us today. We're excited to get to talk to you more later in the show.
So Monday, it's gorgeous. Hello, it's going to be 90 degrees in Los Angeles.
Record setting today.
I'm ready for it. How about you guys?
Well, shout out to the family that's back in the Midwest and on the East Coast. They're still buried under the snow. So we're very grateful for the extra warm weather and sunshine. That's for sure. I took advantage of it this weekend and spent some time outside, went on a couple hikes. I found this new hike in the Bel Air area. And it was so special because I walked through this trail and I'm up by myself, and there was a mailbox and a bench in the middle of nowhere. It was like surreal, like in a storybook. So I opened the mailbox and there was a guest book in there for all the people who have found this secret, mysterious trail. You know, there's no signs, no markings. And it was so special because everybody wrote, you know, a very positive message. And I thought, what am I going to write here? Like, this is the moment I create my legacy. I don't know what I'm going to do. So I'm going to have to go back if I can ever find this mailbox and bench again. It was straight out of a storybook. It was so special.
Did it have a pen in it? Like,
absolutely. It had a pen. It was leather bound. I mean, seriously.
Wow.
But I didn't even want to, like, I thought, do I do an Insta story of this? And I thought, no, I can't do that. Yeah, I don't want anybody else to know about this magical place I found. Nice. So then on Sunday, I woke up and I was so excited because I wanted to go back to that place. I was just like, that gave me such perspective because it was truly one of the few places in Los Angeles I've been where I actually felt like I was alone.
Nice.
It's a good reason. It's so interesting you say that. That's so critical for me to have like a retreat, you know, away from life. You know, so I kind of feel like my apartment is that in a way, you know, that my house is that. But it's nice because, and it's amazing that in LA there are places like that where you can feel like you're not even in LA. Right?
And you're literally like moments from LA. I'm talking like the 405 was next door to me. There was like helicopter circling, but weirdly, like I didn't hear anything but the birds, and there were these butterflies. I'm telling you, it was like, thank you, universe. I needed this moment.
Right.
It was really special.
Yeah.
That's so awesome.
Speaking of, I had some time as well, went down to San Diego and visited with my father because his brother, who I want to give a big shout out to, Uncle Eric, I love you. He was actually having his farewell retirement dinner up at Scripps College in Claremont. He was a professor for 35 years of French and gives, he's written books and all kinds of things on all the French gardens. So just a beautiful event on Saturday night up there. But I went down because my father flew in, and we went down to my uncle's beach house first on Friday and just had a really relaxing time, and then went up. And I just want to say that, my uncle's been, as I was never in a classroom with him, but he was one of the greatest teachers of my life and still is to this day. And what he really taught me was everything he does with like a total class and panache, if you will. Like everything. If it's Easter, he writes you a letter. If it's Valentine's Day, if it's, the wind's blowing, extra hard, he will send you an actual letter, a card in the mail, and he has the most amazing handwriting you'll ever see in your entire life. But he goes the extra mile in everything, and you just realize that there's a level that people live at that they're just so organized. They've got everything just like structured, and they just are constantly making the best of every situation. So you've been a great teacher to me, Uncle Eric. Thank you so much for your love of your families. It's amazing, and everyone in my family, thank you so much.
So incredible. I love hearing about people that go the extra mile, particularly with respect to warmth and compassion. It's just phenomenal to hear that. Obviously, your uncle's an incredible man, huh?
Yeah, really amazing.
What'd you get up to this weekend, Rob?
Oh boy, what did I get up to? I was doing a little car shopping. I went down to Anaheim. That was cool. Not so cool. It was a little bit of traffic.
But you didn't come home with a car.
I didn't come home, no. It's, for me, I really want to find something that I love, first of all. And I have to love the deal in addition to loving the car. There's a lot of great cars out there, but I want a great deal. And the other thing is I'm not in a rush. And one thing I've learned from life is that if I take my time and I enjoy the process, something better comes along than I planned for or expected. So I just want to practice that as much as possible.
Okay, so Rob, the universe wants to know, if you could have a car, any car, what would it be?
It's interesting because it's also one of those things that the more you look at cars, the more they all begin to look the same. So you're like, it's not really that,
Kind of like dating.
Is dating like that?
Yeah. Car shopping and dating, I don't know, there's some theme going on here.
Yeah, it's, I think part of the challenge with me is I see something beautiful about every car. I'm like, wow, that's great. I love the interior on this one, and I love the price on that one, and I love, the exterior on this one. So for me, it's, I really enjoy the process of looking, and sometimes I think I might enjoy the process of looking even more than buying. Not different from my dating life. Very similar. I embrace that. That's cool. That's who I am.
At least you're honest about it, Rob. Just embrace it.
Exactly.
I also want to say that this weekend they had the Ironman going on down right outside of the community we were staying in, and it was so fascinating because I don't know what time they started, like 6:30 in the morning, and I'm not I don't know all that much about Ironman, but I believe that they do whatever X amount of miles in swimming, and then they do biking, and then they run. And so the first guy, the Iron Man and the Iron Woman, came by. I think the guy came at like 9:20, and I think the woman was like a half an hour behind him. And this guy was supposedly doing 4-minute miles, like after swimming, after biking, after whatever. And then what was fascinating is that, of course, it was just him that came by. The next person came by like 5 minutes later. And then groups of people came by all the way until 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And I'm thinking, well, what's harder? Is it harder to kick ass for 4 hours and do the whole Ironman really fast? Or is it harder to do like 12 hours of Ironman? I'm thinking, sign me up for the 4-hour one.
Yeah, 4-minute mile is absolutely insane.
Right?
I mean, I used to run cross country, and we would literally just do milers. And to run a 4-minute mile is, you are trucking the entire, it's a full-out sprint. It's a full-out sprint the whole time.
Yeah, and incredible.
Wow, it's amazing.
Yeah. Wow.
All right.
So on that note,
we're gonna take a quick break.
Let's take a little break. When we come back, we're going to talk about the #1 thing that can destroy the motivation in your workplace and destroy a team. So let's talk about that. We'll be right back.
It was a hot week in La La Land. I'm Jasmine Moyer, co-host of Good Morning La La Land with our associate producer, Miss Victoria Simone, and we're here to tell you all about it. On Monday, we welcomed Robbie Hayes to the studio. You've seen him on The Bachelorette, and he has a new company, Leisureletics.
What?
Hot. Tuesday, we welcomed Sean Kushner, aka Kush. Wednesday, we celebrated with Annalyn McCord and Together One Heart, freeing women from slavery. We had Focus TV family, Eden Sassoon in-house.
Namaste all day. Thanks for tuning in to This Week in La La Land. I'm Victoria Simone. Jez. Bye.
It's going to be a good morning, La La Land.
Hey everyone, thank you for tuning into This Week in Focus. My name is Victoria Simone, producer here at Focus TV Network, America's first live streaming daily talk show network. And today I have my girl helping me out,
Jez Moya, co-host of Good Morning LaLaLand.
So last week on the Focus TV Network, we shot Reshape with Ali Landry.
And special guest Ross Matthews.
We had the Alyssa Goodman Show.
With the original Iron Chef herself, Kat Cora.
What? I'm so excited to announce our newest show, The Lisa Torres Show, Jeslyn, who was on Good Morning LaLaLand.
We had a great week full of guests, including Robbie Hayes from The Bachelorette.
Hot!
Hot! Anna McCord celebrating Together One Heart, and Ian Sassoon, beauty and wellness advocate.
Can I say triple hot? Thank you guys for tuning in to This Week in Focus. Jez, thanks for helping me out. Bye.
Hang on.
You want to do it again?
Yeah.
Okay.
And
I know everything. That's all we could say with all the freaking lists that you gave me. Soul Reboot with Allison Charles. And I was supposed to say Ross Matthews. Fuck, I forgot. Jeslyn's so mad at me now.
no, I don't care.
Rush it and cap.
Trust, then verify.
Yes. You keep doing that. The Lisa Torres Show with, do I say Lisa Torres? Okay.
So awkward. Okay.
Is it helping? You okay with this music in the background?
No.
All right, how long are we doing this game for?
That is definitely not going in the blooper roll. Live from Los Angeles, welcome back to Good Morning LaLaLand. If you have got a case of the Mondays like I do, we have two very special guests in the house, serial entrepreneur and an incredible TV personality, wine creator, shoe dazzler, April Jones in the house this morning. So I'm wondering, if you've got a case of the Mondays, what do you do to get motivated? Is there something that really gets you going in the morning?
Well, like I said, you know, I'm a mother, so my kids definitely, they have so much energy, so my children just motivate me every single day. And then, you know, going to the gym and just, you know, meditating and refocusing myself and, you know, all of that, like, really just makes my day so positive. And I'm just ready to work.
I'm wondering, when you meditate, is there like a mantra or something you do that you're like focusing on that inspires you?
Yeah, I mean, I really meditate in the shower.
Oh, I love that. Totally, me too.
It's like, because I have no time to do it anywhere else, because my kids are just like, mommy.
Yeah.
So for me, it's in the shower. Very personal space, very quiet. You know, me one with the earth, with the water. Yeah.
I'm so with you. That's like my me time.
Yes.
Right there.
I love it. I need
In
it.
between shampoo and conditioner, I'm like,
Exactly.
all right, universe, are you listening to me today?
Exactly. All of that.
Brett, what do you do to get motivated?
So I mean, this is kind of weird, but Monday's actually my favorite day of the week. I love Mondays, just because I think it's like, I look at Mondays as like kind of your first day in the week to get things started. It's like, I think of it like I'm putting my jersey on for the week, right? Like, I have Monday, and I have now 5 more days to get what I need to get done. So to be honest with you, I get the most anxiety on Fridays because I'm like, I only have a few more hours left, and I need to get whatever I need to get done that week, or I'm gonna have to have the weekend to not be able to do it.
Spoken like a true serial entrepreneur. It's no wonder you created 6 companies by the time you were, what, like 24?
Yeah.
Unreal.
Yeah.
You must be a weekend warrior then, right?
Honestly, like I think I used to be.
Are you growing out of that at 25?
Yeah, I think yeah. I just turned 26, and I don't know, something about turning 26 was like, all right, I need to finally grow up.
1 foot in the grave, brother.
Yeah. But I know, I really do like get my greatest joy out of doing my business and growing. I'm kind of like a growthaholic. I feel like if I'm not closing a new deal at least once a week, I feel like we're not doing a good job. And that's kind of where I get my greatest joy. I mean, I have fun going on the weekends and all that, but at the same time, that's not where I get my true joy. My true joy isn't actually in the office. So kind of crazy, but that's just really how I feel.
Wow,
Love
that's
it.
really cool. Well, thank you both so much for being here, for sharing your stories. We're excited to get to talk to you more later in the show.
Right. So we're talking about Motivation Monday, and I actually want to talk about something that is so important to all of us, and it's so important because as creating the show, creating the people that we love in our lives, you know, it's been a question of myself, like, what are the things that we can do as a family, as a community? And I've looked out there at many businesses, and I remember that there's been one primary thing that destroys everything from families, communities, businesses, everything, and it comes down to what's called triangulation. And I think this is a really important conversation for everyone to have, because I think that people do it without even realizing that they do it. And so triangulation actually was kind of, the term was invented 50 years ago by Stephen Carpan, and it basically means that there's gossip, there's people talking behind other people's backs. And I think that it's something that people do even without even ill intent sometimes. But I think the point is to have the conversation within all communities so that people go, oh yeah, let's just go to the source. So do you guys have ever heard of triangulation? Obviously in positive psychology, I'm sure it's used a lot.
I heard it once or twice.
Yeah, I'm sure you have.
Once or twice, yeah.
Yeah. So basically, there's obviously can be multiple people involved, but in general, there's 3 people involved. And basically, when someone wants to talk to somebody else, and they turn into what's called, you know, I don't like these labels at all, but somebody's considered the victim, somebody's considered the perpetrator, and someone's considered like the rescuer. And so basically, when someone's having a problem with somebody, instead of going directly to that person, they'll go to somebody else, whether they're trying to just, you know, vent, or trying to get compassion, or trying to figure out what's going on. And it sounds good in theory. The issue is that it always, generally, people have opinions, and those opinions, those 2 people coming together for opinions, actually energetically makes a little bit of like a divide, if you will, between the other person. And if that person ever finds out that they've talked without them there's always some kind of issue. So the kind of theme of a career or a business is to always have team meetings, to always come together so that there's never this, so people know I'm safe here. I know no one's going to be talking behind anybody, that we can come together always. It's always best to go to that person.
The worst was when my poor best friend had to live with my ex-boyfriend and I. That was some triangulation right there. He said, she said at its finest.
Right?
She handled it so well, beautifully. Beautifully done, Lauren. Thank you for continuing to be a great mediator in my life.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
So yeah, so it's, you know, it's a tricky thing, and I think that it's something that we all deal with, and I know I've done it myself, and I know that it's one of those things where you know you do it and you're like, yeah, I did that. You know, it's just like, it's a natural thing. You just want to like talk about whatever's going on in your life.
So what's the value of a coach or a mediator or a therapist then?
Well, I think it's very important to have a non-biased third party. Absolutely, there's a time and a place for that in workplace. Generally, I think that the kind of go-to is that if you can't go to that person, you feel like it's not a safe place, you can't, or there's going to be conflict, then you usually go to what's considered like a higher up in the, you know, team or whatever. But yeah, so a lot of companies will have coaches for that exact reason, so that, like what you do, right? So they can go to somebody, vent without going to somebody else in their company. It's probably one of the reasons why a lot of the companies hire coaches.
Well, I think sometimes too, rather than getting opinions, it's something maybe you need to figure out what your message is, so that when you do communicate directly to a person, you're able to articulate what it is that you really want to communicate, regardless of the emotion or the initial reaction you might be feeling.
Yeah, I think it's a real tough, and the concept I understand and I can appreciate. At the same time, I think the challenge is often if one person's not wanting to speak to the other person, let's say in a situation, a corporate environment, work environment, home environment, there's usually a reason for that, because they don't feel like whatever they're going to share is going to be well received or received at all, and they might get a knee-jerk reaction. So for them to actually share that directly could be actually problematic. It could actually destroy the team itself. So I think there's always a great opportunity to be exploited, which is to refine the message and to, you know, be able to present it in a way that keeps the other person's mind and heart open to receive it. And I think that doesn't come, you know, I think sometimes a third party is very helpful in that respect.
Yeah, for sure.
Right, yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, so getting a third party for sure. And I think that a lot of companies do this. That's why they'll have like weekend meetups, or they'll have things to bond as a team also, so that they can, you know, because a lot of those like fears that you're talking about, sometimes it's just, we just make them up in our head, like, oh, this might be scary to talk to this person, whatever. Sometimes it's just, you know.
And sometimes I think we also can make up in our heads, we can be concerned that other people are sharing information or about us or behind us back when it's not happening.
Yeah.
You know, we know for sure that paranoia is one of those things that's highly contagious, it's very infectious, and the more you think about it, the more you increase, you know, it in your own mind. So it's one of those things, I think, for me, the best approach is just to assume positive intent.
Yeah, and where do you invest your emotion? In your own insecurities or the trust that you've developed in certain friendships and relationships and believing in the best, right?
Yeah,
Fostering the positivity, that's got to be stronger in your team than your own personal insecurities a lot of the time.
Yeah, like, I love that, and I have to agree, like, for me, I'm completely committed to nothing to destroy my well-being. Nothing's going to destroy a team for me. Nothing's going to destroy my positive, happy experience of anything, ever. And that may not, you know, the people on the other side of the table may not feel that way, but quite frankly, that's their problem. For me, I'm all about harmony. I'm going to stay committed to peace and harmony, and that's my reality. I'm going to continue to live that. So I feel like it's up to me.
And it's a beautiful reality we have because here at Good Morning La La Land, we now have a podcast. That's right. If you had a favorite interview, you can now tune in on iTunes and hear some of our interviews. We're going to continue to put our show up on there, but if there's any particular guest that you want to hear or conversation you want us to have, please feel free to reach out on Instagram or Facebook, YouTube, whatever, and engage with us because we want to include you, our community, in the conversation.
Shout out to Andy. He's like a miracle worker, magician.
Right. we're everywhere now. It's like you can't hide. We're coming to get you. So on that note, let's take a little note. Let's get to the back studio and talk with two amazing, extraordinary people about their lives and how they're making an impact. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Hello, Los Angeles. I am your host and producer, Alex Worley, filming inside Focus TV's West Hollywood studio. Welcome to Empowerista, a show dedicated to highlighting female trailblazers and empowering you to turn your barriers into breakthroughs.
Hey guys, I'm Amy Paprath.
And I'm Justin Walter.
And this is What's Good, the show that's dedicated to positive, uplifting stories from all over the globe.
Welcome to Good Morning La La Land. I'm Dr. Erin.
I'm Rob Mack.
And I'm Jezza Moye.
And we're making history as the first live streaming daily talk show.
This is where all kinds of shit happens.
Monday through Friday, we are going to be streaming to you live, Los Angeles, at 9 a.m. Pacific time on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube.
Hi everyone, welcome to the Alyssa Goodman Show. So Kelly, welcome.
Thank you for having me, Alyssa. This is so fun.
I know.
What's up, Rose girls? I'm Jessica Carroll. Today we're gonna have so much fun because we have fitness personality Katie Austin.
Hey,
we're
thanks for having me on.
with
Cheers.
Katie Austin.
I love it. It
Cheers.
feels like a Saturday.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Millennial Life. I'm your host, Laura Odegaard, and today we are joined by the very beautiful former Miss California and now a TV host, Natasha Martinez. I'm so happy that you're here.
I'm so excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
Of course.
You are tuning in to Slay with Rachel McCourt, and I have a fabulous guest. In studio with me is Liza Glukoff. She's just been named executive producer of programming at Awesomeness TV. I mean, no big deal, but huge. Hi.
Thank you. Hi.
Are we so excited right now?
We are so excited.
I mean,
Thank
we
you for
have
having me.
roses, we have perfect lighting, we've got some Spa Girl vodka in case we get a little crazy.
Hey, Dr. Erin here, teaching universal law and spiritual truth, having a conscious conversation in the heart of Hollywood. And I'm honored to have the guest today, who is Christina Pascucci, who is amazing. Thank you so much.
Oh, it's an honor to be here with you. I so appreciate it.
Today on Moms Matter, we're going to talk about money, 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 something that we all struggle with and we need help with, and that's why we have the fabulous Winnie Sun, who's here with us today.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you so much. I know you've been on MSNBC and Forbes, and you are the money expert.
Hey everyone, welcome back to a new magical episode of Soul Reboot. I am your host, Allison Charles. Please welcome and meet this powerful divine queen whose name is Daphne Wayans. I am so happy to be here with you.
I'm so honored to be here. Welcome back live from Los Angeles. We have April Jones in the house, who's an incredible personality on TV. She's an entrepreneur, mother, and look at how gorgeous you look. How do you do it with 2 kids? You're showing up today.
I don't know, because everybody always asks me, April, how do you balance it? Like, how do you still look so good? You know, and I'm like, I don't know. Like, it's
like
really,
that.
well, no, I don't. Okay, don't get it twisted. Sometimes we definitely, all girls need a little concealer. Yeah. Okay, yeah. So that is that. But yeah, I mean, I love taking care of myself as far as like, you know, still making sure that I'm healthy so that my children are healthy, if that makes sense. And so, going to the gym and just making sure that, I'm just keeping like that sane mind. And then all of the rest just kind of flows.
Self-care is so important.
It is.
Because so many times even I sacrifice it, and I don't have children, but I realize the only way to really take care of my community is if I take care of myself. What is like the one thing non-negotiable in your life?
My peace.
Your peace.
Yeah, period. It's just, I feel like I've just gotten to a place in my life where all I really want is peace. And everything else outside of that naturally now just flows into my life. It's just peaceful now, like, because I want it and that's what I'm going for, and I want to attain that. It's just everything else is flowing.
So many people though watching are going to say, well, I see on VH1, you're honey, and how do you stay peaceful? There's lights, camera, action around you all the time.
I think because of that, it's just like, I mean, I feel like naturally I was built for that kind of life. I'm a very strong woman, like I've endured a lot growing up, but I just feel like, I don't know, it's just so important, especially after having kids and just going through the things that I've gone through in my life. I have to, like, it's just no exception. The peace has to be there,
Well,
like.
And you can have a peace with a glass of Chardonnay.
Oh yeah, April wines. That's what saves me.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
Did you always have a vision that you were going to create your own wine company?
You know what, I've always loved wine. In college, I really fell in love with it, going to wineries and things like that. But then it was an amazing opportunity that was presented to me here in LA. Someone who owned a winery kind of came up and said, I want to kind of collaborate with you, brand pair kind of thing. And, when I went and I sat down with him, he fell in love with me, and it just happened from there. And I was like, you know what? Why did I ever think about creating a wine line before? Like, April, you love wine. Why? But, when it happened, I was like, this is just perfect for me. It just is me. Like, I'm a mother. I need it.
So, when you look out there at, your name on the internet, so there's obviously, there's gossipy, and I know that that's not what this show's about. This show is about kind of the inspiration and faith, quite frankly, sometimes, and everything else. So what would you say for the people out there that they want to, they want to know something that they've never heard before? What is it that you do to keep your faith? What's your background? What do you?
Well, I've been raised in the church since I was a little girl. I wasn't raised by my mom or my dad. I was raised by my grandmother, and she had a really strong belief in God. And obviously, like, I have that, so that's like a big part of my life. Every day, just having faith and being good to people and like having compassion and understanding and all these things, like that's just who I naturally am. And everything on the outside is, to me, it's work. But my personal life, like, I have been able to maintain, keeping my personal life personal. I think that's really important. Even being involved in Los Angeles and in the entertainment industry, it's important to be able to have that balance, So you see what you see on the outside, but my life is really truly private, and it's my life. Like, I really hone in on that, And I think that's the balance that I've just maintained.
Amazing.
Yeah, and finding that, I don't know, like, I just, privacy is very important,
Has that been one of the toughest parts of your journey, or what would you say has been one of the biggest challenges for you?
Yeah, I would say that, and just having everybody, I mean, I was on a reality show, people kind of assuming that they know me from that, and it's really interesting once everything's edited, you're kind of like, you watch yourself and you're like, I mean, yeah, I was a nice person on there, and like, okay, but you didn't get to see really who April really was, and now people after the show are starting to see who I am, like how much of a boss I am, how much of a hustler, how much of a lover, and how I care about people. But none of that was really shown on like the show that I was on. So it's really interesting.
Beyond being a personality and now being an entrepreneur, what have you learned about yourself in that? I mean, obviously you're a boss, you can handle it. Is there anything you've learned in particular?
Yeah, I mean, I just, so much about myself. I mean, I was on a show, and at the time I was in a relationship, I was pregnant, so it's all these things, and like now I'm a single mom of 2 kids, and I had to go through like a breakup publicly, and so all of these transitions just kind of leading me into where I'm at now, and kind of why I do what I do with my wine, which is this whole women empowerment movement, is because when I was going through a breakup and all this stuff, like I was like, oh my God, there's so many other women who literally feel like this, and they feel alone, have no one to speak to. So now that I have a platform, it's so important for me not to just have it, but to use it.
I'll drink to that.
Yeah. And so then I'm like, well, I have a wine company. Like, okay, cool. I can go and I can like sell this anywhere. Like, okay, that's fine. But like, what am I gonna do with this? And like I prayed on it, and it was like, okay, well, why don't you break bread with other women, create this sisterhood, like go and speak to women, empower them, help them go through what you were going through. And like, that's kind of like where I'm at.
Who was that person for you?
Well, God first, and then, my mom and, my close supportive like friends. Yeah, like, oh my God, like here in California, I'm just so happy that I've built such a supportive team because I don't have family here. All of my family is like out of state. So I'm here by myself with my two babies, but like my support system here is incredible.
Wow.
Yeah.
There was one thing that you wanted to share with like other women or even other men, that are going through a tough time, and maybe they want to accomplish some of the things that you've accomplished. What would you tell them?
Just stay focused, Yeah, and like recenter yourself and find you again, because I think sometimes we just lose ourselves and we don't feel motivated and we don't feel like we can really get through like the tough times or wherever the rut that we're in, but you can. You just have to really see the larger side of things, because there is a light at the end of the tunnel. And I didn't think that I could see it. Like when I was going when I was in a rut, I didn't think I could see the light at the end of the tunnel. And I was like, okay, you know what? Like I surrender, like whatever this is supposed to be, wherever my life is going, God just guide it. And I was like, I am not in control anymore. I'm just like, I'm over it. and then it was like, once I said I'm over it, it was like, oh, April, okay, this is where you're supposed to go. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Is that like Carrie Underwood, Jesus take the wheel? Because I feel like that way too all the time. I'm like, where is my GPS right now? Like, where am I going? What is this?
Yeah, but I'm not in control.
Yeah,
I'm not in control.
When you realize that, it's so much more, so much better.
Yeah, I don't. I about that a lot. I don't know how people get through life. I don't know how I got through life for so long, thinking that I was in control of anything.
Right.
Of anything. I mean, it's mind blowing. Yeah, you make plans one day and they're totally different the very next.
Yeah.
And, you want to feel in control, but you realize that you're just not at the end of the day, right? But it's freeing and it's empowering.
It's liberating.
And the one thing we can take control over is ourselves, right? Our self-care.
100%.
Put on the good shoes, drink the good wine,
and not feeling ashamed for being you. That to me is like, I am so comfortable right now. This is like the happiest I've ever been in my life. I'm so comfortable with being the woman that I am right now, as opposed to how I was. Like, I just feel like right now at 31 years old of living, I am like finding myself. I'm honing in on what's important in life. I'm finding a purpose, and I feel like, like we have to know what our purpose is here. And I feel like on this earth, and I feel like I'm just now finding that out. I'm like, did it take 31 years of living to get to this point? Yeah.
Good thing it only took you 31 years, because your purpose is huge.
Yeah,
your mission is huge. Share that with us. Like, where do you see yourself going?
Man, I don't know wherever God guides me, but I really want to help women, and I love the men too. Don't get it wrong, but I'm all for women empowerment. I just want to help young kids, find themselves, because right now with the world that we live in, with social media and all these things that like the pressures, they're a lot. I think more than we even know. And when we were growing up, it wasn't like this.
We did not have a universal popularity contest.
Yeah, and like the competition and just all of these things, like the perception of life, like these kids really have a lot of pressure. So for me, just telling people to be authentically yourself. It's okay. Like being weird is actually pretty cool.
It's so cool.
Yeah, it's so cool.
But are you weird? Because I don't think you're weird.
I'm weird. I like weird things. I don't know. I just feel like I'm like quirky and like, I'm kind of corny. I don't know. But I'm okay with being that. Like, I'm like, no.
You're owning it.
Yeah, I love every little piece of me.
How would you describe yourself at 31, after all you've been through? Like, who is April Jones right now?
Crazy, liberated, free.
That's sexy.
Sassy, feisty, a wino. A woman in need of sanity all the time. I don't know, happy, motivating.
Oh my God, the emojis are like flying right now.
So you talked earlier about breaking bread with women, and I love that because I think that we need to get together more. Like it's easy on social media to think that we're really connecting with people and we're really not.
Right.
So what does that look like? Are you creating events? How's
Yes, so weekly, I put these flyers out on my Instagram or social media. And for example, we've done like a wine and dine where I had Shoe Dazzle and Fab Kids kind of come in, surprise these women. They were kind of like hiding in a room. This restaurant basically, served these women food. We kind of, talked about life, why it was important, why they were there. And then towards the end, they got gifted with stuff for their children and stuff for themselves to feel beautiful and to feel sexy as mothers. Have a break, have a moment to be around other women and kind of just share their story, So that's like one. We've done, sexy dance class, whether that's like a burlesque for women who don't feel sexy, with their bodies or like have low self-esteem. We've done writer workshops where it's like writing letters to God and sharing that and, just like ultimate healing, like finding that. Because I think sometimes it's really easy, which is weird, to talk to strangers than it is to go to like a friend and have that judgment there, so the people know when they come to these events, there's no judgment. You get to be yourself. You get to have that, almost like that therapy. For me, these women are my therapist. I love it. Like, I feel like every time when I have an event, it actually is helping me. And sometimes it humbles me because I'm like, wow, like here I am complaining about my life and you're like going through what you're going through and I have nothing to say. Like, wow, I'm humbled. Like, let me sit back and stop complaining,
Totally.
So it's awesome.
I'm coming for therapy.
Yeah. Come for therapy and come for a glass of wine.
And the shoes, please.
I was going to say, I know it's for women, but I'd be there in a second.
Look, I did a Father's Day edition for fathers, and let them have massages with wine. I treat them in. You're just not as important as the women.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
We love the men.
Yes.
We love you guys.
They got the long end of the stick for a long time.
Yes.
And then tell us a little bit about your relationship with Shoe Dazzle.
So my relationship with Shoe Dazzle, honestly, it's so funny how life turns because when I was growing up, Kim Kardashian was like a brand ambassador for Shoe Dazzle. And I just remember signing up and being like, oh my God, I'm a college student. I don't have enough money to like go and like buy, all these expensive shoes. So 3 pairs of shoes for like $32 is like, oh my God, it's life. So and I'm still a member, which is so funny because I still get my emails and I'm like, oh my God, I did not sign up for this. Like, did I not end or cancel this? So I'm still a member. So funny, they actually came to me based on, what I'm doing with the whole women empowerment and everybody kind of like just falling in love with the movement. And they're like, we want to be a part of this. So they asked me to come on as a brand ambassador as well, have my own shoe collection. And which is so funny because now people are buying my shoes.
That's fire.
Yeah, isn't that cool?
Yeah. Did you imagine you had your own shoe collection?
No, but I love it. Like, I actually go to the headquarters. I actually try on these shoes, and I'm like, I'm not putting a pair of shoes on any woman that I wouldn't wear. So I literally would sit there and be like, okay, would you buy these? Yes or no? Would you say these are sexy? Ask me about these shoes. If they say no, I don't want it part of my collection.
You know you've made it when you have your own shoe line.
Oh yeah.
Michael Jordan.
And it's inexpensive. It's inexpensive to feel sexy,
Absolutely.
And I don't mind rocking a pair of like cheap shoes.
Yeah.
Right.
So how can people find you?
So you can find me at April, APRL Jones on Instagram, Snapchat. It's the same on everything, all my social media, Twitter and all that. Yeah.
And your wines.
And my link for my Shoe Dazzle and all of that stuff is under my Instagram.
Oh, check
all the
it
links.
out.
Yeah, and aprilwines.com, guys.
Well, sign us up. I could use a glass of wine.
You know what? I should have brought you guys a bottle. Why didn't I think of that?
Well, now you know
I'll
where
send
we're
you guys
at.
next
Focus TV at West Hollywood. So you're welcome back anytime.
Yes.
We'll have a good sisterhood conversation over wine.
We have plenty of addictions here, so
Okay, me too. Me too.
We'll do a special podcast at night with some wine.
Yes, please. Have me back.
After hours with April Jones.
Yep.
Right.
Oh, thank you so much for being here
Thank you guys for having
today.
me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Right back with more on Good Morning La La Land. Welcome to the Focus TV studios in West Hollywood. I'm Jasmine Moyer, host of the Focus TV network show, LA Unscripted, and co-host of America's first live streaming talk show, Good Morning La La Land. This is the Focus Magazine preview show and an exclusive sneak peek. Today, I have the privilege to announce the March 2018 issue of Focus magazine, and we're calling it the Influence issue, featuring amazing personalities making a difference in our local communities. On the cover, we have singer-songwriter and host of Chasing Glory podcast, Lillian Garcia. I had the extreme honor of both interviewing her and writing a feature for the magazine on Lillian. She's truly an influencer on so many levels. Joining her on the cover is my spiritual influencer and co-host of Good Morning LaLaLand, Dr. Erin Haskell. And with her is a true professor of influence, Amanda Russell. Also featured in this issue, we have the constructional chef, Scott Harris, executive chef from the Four Seasons Hotel right here in Beverly Hills, Byron Thomas, and two members of the Focus TV family and dynamic duo of lifestyle influence, Janet Gunn and Melissa Myers. Also in this issue, we feature Lauren Everts, the founder of the Skinny Confidential, hello gorgeous, and the candle makers Elise Fratto and Maylene Weber of Leone Candeli, which is of course right over there. And Cynthia Abbey Naked, who I interviewed for my show LA Unscripted, and she is the founder of a great piece of functional jewelry from the Coley Collective. We also have a celebrity chef, Serena Poon, and her new product, Just Add Water, in a series of 4 mom influencers from our millennial mom herself, host Jenna Barnett. It's all influence, influence, influence in this issue of Focus magazine. Get your copy today on newsstands or online, and be sure to watch our companion video features as well, because we are the only magazine in the country providing a robust video complement to our print features. I'm Jessica Moyer, coming to you from the Focus TV studios in West Hollywood. Thanks for watching. Live from Los Angeles, welcome back to Good Morning La La Land. We are here with serial entrepreneur and the CEO of Misfit Media, Mr. Brett Linkletter. Thank you so much for being here today.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for having me.
Appreciate it.
Talk about hashtag Monday motivation. You walk in here and you're like, I got this.
Yeah.
6 businesses later. 20 years.
Honestly, it's really crazy, and I always like talk about this with my buddies who are also in their own businesses. Is there's something I think inside of every entrepreneur that pushes them, and it's not like I can trace it back to any specific event in my life, but it's kind of like always been that way. And at least my way as an entrepreneur is I look at myself as kind of like a rebel. I've always looked at things like I want to do things differently, not because I think the system that's in place right now is imperfect, but just it's something I didn't want to associate with for some reason. I don't know why.
Was that something you ever had a moment where you recognized that in yourself?
Yeah, honestly, since I was like a little kid.
Really? Yeah, don't you think entrepreneurs, it's almost like you're born with it, I've found, just being around entrepreneurs. It's something that, something happens as a little kid and you decide, like, this is
It's really weird because, and my dad always jokes with me about this story. So when I was like, I think in middle school or freshman year of high school, my dad, so I'm doing my homework at the dinner room table, and my dad's like, hey Brett, you gotta do your dishes after dinner, like put it away. And I'm like, Dad, like, you do the dishes because I'm gonna sit here and do my homework, get good grades, so I go to good college, get a good job, and later in life, when I
hard to argue with, actually, right?
Yeah, and like, later in life, when I make a lot of money, I'll get you a Ferrari for all this effort that you've had to put in towards me. So it's kind of like this joke we have now. My dad's like, so when am I getting my Ferrari? He's like, I did your dishes that time, so I'm getting a Ferrari later. So I just always had this mentality that like no. Also, I was in college. I was in a fraternity. And pledging for me was just a very difficult thing. I have this very serious problem with like listening to other people and doing tasks for other people, which is another reason I need to have my own business, because I don't think I'd be a good employee anywhere, to be honest with you.
But it's different to be a solo entrepreneur versus building a company. So how has that been, working with other people and building those relationships?
It's been amazing. And I'm really thankful for having a business partner in Misfit Media. So my business partner came on with me about 2 years ago, and I think for a lot of entrepreneurs, it is kind of a lonely path until you have employees. But having a business partner especially is grateful, because you're able to have those successes together and those failures together. And when you are alone, it is very, very lonely. A lot of people say like being an entrepreneur is literally the loneliest lifestyle you can live if you don't have a business partner or you don't have employees. Because legitimately, when I first started this business, I was at home working from basically my room, right? And there are some low points, very, very low points. And when you don't have anyone to talk to about that, you feel like it's literally the end of your life and you don't know what to do. I mean, some of my lowest moments, my worst moment ever, I was down $16,000 in debt. One of my best friends had just died, and I had just lost 3 of my biggest paying clients. So I was like, and I was alone at that time. So I really didn't have anyone to talk to, and no one can relate to you. And you could ask your parents. My parents aren't entrepreneurs, so they can't even understand that, what that's like going through that. So for me, emotionally was like, okay, like this is kind of like the end of the world. Like it was like the breaking point. Like I can get past this, or that's it. And shortly after that, my business partner came on about 4 or 5 months after that, and things ended up working out. But it just, when you don't have someone to talk to, it's just hard.
How did you get through that? You know, how did you bide your time for that 6 months until the other partner came along?
In that moment, I kind of called like my back against the wall kind of moment. I started 2 other businesses. So one of which is a hair company. It's called Hudson Hammer. It's like a men's hair product company. We do hair gels, creams, all that kind of stuff. And another business I started was a software business. It's called Boostly. It basically is a software that helps you kind of grow a social following on Instagram. And the software business started with 2 of my other friends from school. So I was like, I'm going to have a business partner in this because it's very hard to do this alone. And then the hair company is always something I've been very passionate about. But in starting those 2 businesses at the same time, obviously because I was already in debt, it was very difficult. So like, it was
what do you do
down.
then?
I took a lot of credit card debt. So climbed out of it eventually, and I made it through. But it's one of those things where I look back on that moment and it's like, if that hadn't worked out in the next 6 months, I don't know. Like it might just never worked out for me.
It's so
honestly.
profound to me to hear how resilient you are. It's so inspiring to me because I think a lot of people, myself included, when you're down and out, you just want to take like a nap. I just want to sleep. You started 2 more businesses.
Yeah.
Right? So is that something, it sounds like you probably come from a very sort of hardy, resilient family. It's got to be, you know, maybe some values that are...
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, so like, my great-grandfather's name is Art Linkletter. He was also on a TV show. His story is extremely inspiring. He basically, when he was adopted in Canada, and his parents left him at a church doorstep in Moose Jaw, Canada, in a basket. Like legitimately, it sounds like a movie, right? Like he literally was left in a basket at a church.
Wow.
He was adopted by a minister with 1 leg, super poor family, and then made his way to the U.S., basically hitchhiking and basically crossing the border illegally to the U.S., and then became a famous entrepreneur and television host and personality. He's had shows like Kids Say Darndest Things and all that kind of stuff. So for me, he's my biggest inspiration. And I don't know, maybe part of this is all is genetics, because I look back at that story and it just, for me, is like so profound and so amazing, so inspiring. And for me, that's like, I kind of want to continue that legacy.
Right. I have a prediction. I know your new project. It's a movie or documentary. Family. I want in on it.
So you have a tattoo. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah,
That says
so this,
kind of like a,
this right here.
mantra for you.
What does it say?
Yes, it's things turn out best for those who make the best out of the way things turn out. It's actually a John Wooden quote. He was a coach at UCLA, and I'm actually a Trojan, so it's kind of cool. But my dad was a Bruin. I actually was raised to be a Bruin, and then I think I got smart and switched sides.
That's blasphemy. That's blasphemy.
No, so just kidding. I love Bruins. Anyway, but no, I got it in his honor because I don't really talk about too much of this, but essentially when he was on his deathbed, that was one thing he wanted me to remember. Is when things get tough, really make the best of it, and it'll work out for you. So like I really take that to heart,
For sure.
So I want to get tattooed.
And I do think that it's so glamorized in the media and everything of success, and we rarely really see the struggles that go behind the people how they had to get there. The entrepreneurs that were in their room going, "What the hell am I doing?" and in debt and going, "Should I give up? Should I keep going? Whatever." And so it's really important. The stories are so important.
You're absolutely right, Erin, and it's one of the things that I love about your story too is that I think a lot of success stories are revisionist. I mean, we are sort of post-produce them, right? The difference with you is you're so authentic and you're so transparent about your story, but both the dark moments and sort of the beautiful highlights of your life. I think it makes for a really compelling and inspiring journey, story for the rest of us. So thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, thank you.
For sure.
Where can people find more about Misfit Media?
So you can follow us on Instagram at Misfit Media Inc. Also YouTube, Facebook as well. And then on my personal channel, I think personal branding is also very, very important in today's world. I think any business owner should have a personal brand. I mean, just to push themselves and also push their business. So if you guys want to follow me, also on Instagram, just my name, Brett Linkletter.
Hudson and Hammer as well, right?
And then Hudson Hammer, and then if you want to get even further, then Boostly.
Yeah. Get a pen and pad. You're going to need to write these down.
Start with Brett. Go from there.
Yeah, sorry, Brett.
Thank you again for being here today. We'll be back more on Good Morning La La Land. Stay tuned.
Back live with Monday Motivation, and I just want to say that we got some color scheme going on here. We got the blue and the grays and the we didn't plan this, okay? That's what I'm saying.
Because great minds think alike, and it's so incredibly powerful to be sitting here with two incredible business minds. I'm obsessed with entrepreneurship right now. What do you think has been the biggest reward in starting your businesses?
I think like inside of every entrepreneur, like they have this dream of what they want. So when they actually see their dream go through, there's like I don't even know how to put it into words. It's just like it's so gratifying, and it's not about the money at all. I mean, we all make money, right? But at the same time, it's like it's not about that. Like even if I would do this for free if I could, right? What I'm doing right now, I love my life. I'm so happy, and it's just like it's like when you achieve something great. Like I don't know if you've ever been on some you're climbing a mountain, thinking like climbing a mountain, right? And you get to the top, and that whole climb the way up was so incredibly difficult. But when you get there, it's almost like you achieve this high, this high in the form of emotions. Like it's gratifying. You just feel so good about yourself and where you're at, and no one can take it away from you, which is amazing, right? Because you did it yourself, you know that, and it just feels amazing.
You built this.
Exactly.
I totally agree with you. Goodness gracious.
So April, but
I was like,
what he said.
I was envisioning the climb. I'm like, it is so tough, but when you get up there, you're like, oh my God, like the whole peace thing. You're just at peace when you're at top. Like, wow, I really, really worked hard, and I had faith in myself. I believed incredibly that much in myself to where I didn't think I could do it, but like I did it.
Being at the top it's a really interesting thing. Like I mentioned earlier in the show, I climbed to the top of this hill on this hike, right? And it gave me such a different perspective.
Yeah, it does.
But
on
April,
everything.
Most women, a lot of women, we don't know that we can start our own business, or we don't know that we can raise capital, or we don't know all these things. What are you doing what do you think for your children? How are you going to inform them? Because most schools don't, they don't teach entrepreneurship.
Right. Well, just so that's, and I wasn't taught that stuff, unfortunately, but I've had to just kind of learn along the way. Thank God I have amazing friends, and I'm just here in California, and I'm around really like-minded people. So I've learned a lot, and so now it's my due diligence to have to give that back to my kids, teaching them about credit and things like that, because that's where it starts. You really can't move without making sure your life is straight. So just giving them the tools that I've learned along the way to get to where I'm at, and then watching them flourish too.
What do you think the most important trait is to being an entrepreneur? If there was one trait, you're like, you have to have this one trait if you want to be an entrepreneur, what would you say it is?
Gosh.
It's a tough one, I know.
It is.
I would say persistence.
Yeah.
Hustle. Because like honestly, like I've literally done so many different businesses, and you have to understand as an entrepreneur that you're not going to possess every skill set to execute, but if you're persistent enough, you can either figure it out or you can find someone to do it for you.
Right.
Right? That's really, but persistence is the #1 thing.
That's so important because you don't have to know everything. I think that's one thing that holds me back. So I'm like, oh, but I don't know how to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So true. So how do you guys build teams? Have you learned how to build teams? Do you have any particular ways that you would suggest people to build teams?
For me, honestly, I've done like everything. As far as like
Clearly, we have noticed.
No, like literally, I've tried every single route, but the best route for me, honestly, is using your social media.
Yes, 100%.
Posting on Instagram, hey, I'm looking for a filmmaker. Posting
And
on
being
Instagram,
nice to work
looking for a
with.
sales guy.
I feel like being just a good person to, it's really like work ethic and having just a good heart. No one wants to be around someone whose attitude is, bad. So I just maintain being good to people and treating people the way they should be treated. And I think it just brings people into my life.
Amen to that.
Yeah, and the work just flows, because people want to be around that energy.
Absolutely.
So what do you do when you're not working? Like, what do you do to take a night off for yourself?
I got a feeling.
Dancing,
Drinking
wine.
I like doing like weekend trips. Like
Yes.
I recently I've been going to Joshua Tree. I don't know, like every few months. I love it.
Did you do the sound thing in Joshua Tree?
I didn't, but that sounds really cool.
Exactly.
I'm like, what is that? I want to know.
I love Joshua Tree. Supposedly, there's this room full of crystals, and it's like this sound bath, but it's like one of a kind in the world.
That sounds awesome.
Is it the one that's like a big?
Yeah. It's like a dome in the
middle.
middle of Joshua Tree.
That sounds awesome.
Joshua, are you
Maybe
going to
that.
Coachella?
So I was going to, but I'm not going anymore.
Okay.
No
Coachella.
Yeah, no Coachella.
Right.
I've been this is really scary, but I've been the last 8 years in a row.
Oh my gosh.
So I'm taking a break.
Okay, fair.
It gets intense out there.
Oh yeah.
Have you gone, April?
I've gone once and I was pregnant. It was not the best time to go. I mean, not yet. I was being like, my belly was just being, I said, I don't know why I thought that I should be here. That's just
FOMO. I got it. I've never been, and I'm like, oh man, like, do I have to go? Am I missing out?
Yep.
I've never been.
Yeah.
No.
No. Every year I say, I'm going to go to Coachella, and then the time comes, like, nah, I think I'd rather work. Like, literally, I love working.
There's too much to get done, right?
right.
I'll just go to Joshua Tree and take a sound bath.
Yeah, I need to do that.
Yeah, count me in.
Yeah.
Well, we so appreciate you guys coming on the show and just sharing your story. It's so inspiring. I mean, really it is. And to just feel your energy and meet you guys in person is just mind-blowing. So thank you so much.
Thank you guys for
Yeah,
having us.
Yeah, have
Appreciate
a wonderful week, and thank you so much for tuning in, you guys. You can like, share, and comment. Just knowing this divine day in Los Angeles, setting the mind straight, and knowing that anything you desire is possible. Live your truth, and tune in Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. on YouTube, Instagram. We're on
Facebook,
iTunes,
Twitter.
Roku.
Be sure to follow at Brink. Oh my God! Linkletter, aka Brink.
It makes sense. I mean, he brings trucks, they carry money. He's the money guy.
Jones. Of course, we are at Good Morning La La Land, and we will see you soon as America's first live streaming daily talk show. It's going to be a Good Morning La La Land.
Thanks,
Thanks, Brink.
Thank you. Yeah, I know.
Sorry
Thank you.
about that.
No worries.